Good evening. It is wonderful to see everybody here, and it's a pretty exciting night tonight. And I do apologize for a delayed start this evening. So we will start with prayer, and I would like to invite Rodney Ashby. Rodney, I just saw you. Thank you, looking right at you. Rodney is with us with the Planning and Zoning Department here at the City of Nampa, and thank you so much. You're also with the Nampa 24th Ward, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you for opening us in prayer. So let's stand, and then if you'll lead us in a pledge afterwards.
Our Father in heaven, we come before Thee this evening as members of the City of Nampa and also as servants who are here to do our best to lead the development of our community. And we pray that Thy Spirit may be with us as we begin this year. We pray that we will be guided and that this will be a year that we can look back on as one that our leaders have chosen to follow God and have done Thy will. We pray also that this room will be a sanctuary for those who come here. We pray that it will be a place that people can come and be respectful and reasonable. We pray that the personal interests will be left behind and the public interest will supersede those. We are grateful for the blessings that we've received in this wonderful city, and we pray that we will be mindful of how we can serve in more ways. Bless these good leaders. Help them to be humble. Help them to do what is right, to do what is in the interest of the City of Nampa, and to help protect families as well. We pray for these things and also pray that we will be able to put Thee first in our lives. And we say this now in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rodney, thank you so much. That was an honor to have you. Thank you. Let's begin with roll call.
Rodriguez,
Here.
Bruner,
Here.
Hogaboom,
Here.
Levi,
Present.
Haverfield,
Here.
Gog.
Here.
I am unaware of any proposed amendments to the agenda. Does anyone else have a proposed amendment? Seeing none, I would stand for a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hogaboom,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Gog,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Haverfield.
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is our unfinished business, which is an action item 7.1 on the agenda. This is a zoning map amendment to RD two-family residential from RD two-family residential to BC community business at 15117 7th Street South for Dr. Brian Thomas, Nazarene First Church, Nampa First Church of the Nazarene for a medical and counseling clinic.
An ordinance of the City of Nampa, Idaho, providing BC zone designation for certain lands commonly known as 1511 7th Street South, Nampa, Idaho, comprising of approximately .11 acres more or less, determining that said zoning is in the best interest of the citizens and consistent with the comprehensive plan of the City of Nampa, Idaho, rezoning said property from RD to BC, providing for recording, instructing the city engineer to designate and said property as BC on the official zoning maps and other area maps of the city, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and repealing on ordinances, rules, and regulations and parts thereof in conflict herewith.
Mayor
It is
Kling,
requested to pass under suspension of
that
rules.
was my question. I'll make the motion to pass the preceding ordinance as read under suspension of rules.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hogaboom,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Gog,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Haverfield.
Yes.
So the next item on the agenda is our opportunity to honor our retiring councilman. And we do have a presentation for you, and we haven't rehearsed this, But, so I think we should go down. And so I think let's thank you, Chief. Why don't we have you guys go first? But let's all go down, and I'm going to join you. And as we go down, I just want to say, Councilman Skog, it has been wonderful to work with you. You know what? We started out challenging. It's been good. We will miss you. We will miss your leadership. And I just want to let you know that it's been an honor to serve with you. And so thank you. And Councilman Hogaboam, and that's a shift because it will be, as we're shifting from councilman to a new chief of staff, I just want to say thank you for your service and your commitment. And I look forward to having you on the other side of the bench. So it's quite a unique thing. So let's go down because we have a presentation. I think so. Yeah. Unless you all want to come join, you are welcome.
He'll hurt himself if he goes down there.
I hurt myself.
All right.
Again, we haven't rehearsed.
We have a rehearsal. We're being spontaneous.
Go ahead. Mayor, council, we actually, as a new fire chief, I haven't had this opportunity, and I know that Chief Huff, as well as all the other divisions in the city, are thankful for your service. It does take a special person to take time away from your personal life and from your families to dedicate it to citizens, some of which you'll never meet, right? I know the council will enjoy. We did try and get the chief of staff song to play this morning because Rick came to our division head meeting. So it's going to be fun instead of calling councilman, call him chief. So we just did a small token of our appreciation to you for the dedicated years of service to our community. Both of you had the amazing and fun opportunity to do negotiating for the city on behalf of the city with our organizations. And we know that that can be challenging, but also build bridges and relationships. So we want to thank both of you for your professionalism and the opportunity you gave us in that arena. So just a small token.
Yeah, I just want to echo exactly what the fire chief said. We certainly do appreciate your guys' support for public safety specifically and the negotiations. We're going to start the police one here in another couple months if somebody wants to hang around. So again, on behalf of Nampa Fire and Nampa Police, we just want to present you with these flags of the city of Nampa. This one's to Councilman Rick Hogaboam. Thank you for your service to the city of Nampa and the citizens of Nampa. And it says something, and same thing on yours, Councilman. So again, thank you on behalf of public safety. So.
And those are beautiful, and we have one more thing. So we'll start. You have to stay. We have something else. So, as you know, when we have employees retire, we give them a letter. And so I have a letter for both of you that I'll read separately. And so we're going to start with Councilman Skog, and this is: Dear Bruce, on behalf of the city of Nampa, thank you for serving our community as a valued and respected council member since 2014. Your time represented a tremendous commitment to Nampa and has been greatly appreciated. We commend your dedication and fiscal stewardship for the citizens that you represented. The decisions you helped make while serving on Nampa City Council will impact our community for generations to come. Thank you for the countless hours spent reviewing council packet materials and your leadership while serving as council president. Your conservative values have provided a foundation for future leaders and have left a legacy of which you should be proud. We would also like to thank your family for their support, which allowed you to serve our community over the past 6 years. We wish you and your family the very best as you start a new season in life and pray you will be blessed. And so we have just so you guys can see what it is. It's just a come on up, kids.
Kids come too, yeah.
It takes a whole family.
Captain America. I reminded him there's a game tomorrow night. Well, his team won instead of Seahawks.
That was pretty exciting. So, dear Rick, on behalf of the City of Nampa, we would like to thank you for your commitment and service to our community as a member of the Nampa City Council. Your time serving on the council has greatly benefited the city and its residents. Your passion to humbly serve our community, growing community, is evident through the many hours of stewardship you dedicated to ensure the best possible decisions were made on behalf of the citizens that you represented. The time and commitment required to serve as a member of the Nampa City Council is a sacrifice. Thank you for the countless hours you spent reviewing council packet materials and for your leadership as a respected council member. We would also like to thank your family for their support, which allowed you to serve. As you enter a new chapter of public service as Chief of Staff, please allow me to thank you for stepping forward to take on a new challenge. It will be an honor to serve our community with you in this capacity, and I trust you will find the position rewarding as we work to make Nampa a safe and healthy community where the people prosper.
Speech, speech.
Made notes so I wouldn't forget. Yes, thank you to my wife Debbie for letting me run for office and for putting up with me being gone on Monday night footballs, which we like to watch together. But I was able to watch some of that with the city attorney when on my laptop when nobody was paying attention. To my fellow council members and incoming Jacob Bauer, pay attention to that city mission statement. It's a good one that we have for our city, approved by this mayor and everybody here. Occasionally read the Bill of Rights. That's a good thing to read. Go to church on Sunday, unless you're Seventh-day Adventist, go on Saturday. And always say with conditions on the proper P&Z things when you're approving those. And be respectful of others, even in disagreement. Sometimes I forgot that. But that's really important, and I think we're doing that as a team now. That's a good thing. So God bless you. The city's in good hands. I'm proud to be part of this council, outgoing and incoming. Take care.
Well, it's tough to follow that. I want to first off thank Councilman Skog for his years of dedicated service, and I think there's also wisdom in knowing when it's a lot of people want to stay in office forever, and I don't think that's a healthy thing. And so Councilman Skog knew his season to serve. He served, and he through his own decision decided that was enough and decided to step out. So I think that that's commendable to know when your season is up and not to prolong your season. I want to thank the voters who elected me a couple of years ago, and the opportunity to serve on council has been a great joy. I like to read, so reading the packets has been a lot of fun, and I said it's like a book club, but you get to make decisions when you convene. So some of our packets are over 1,000 pages long, and there's lots of data. So for those of you who have applied to be on the council to fulfill my seat, know you're in for a lot of reading. So there's a lot of details. Our city is growing, and I'm honored to serve the mayor in this new capacity as chief of staff, and serve the mayor and serve the city. And I'm thankful to have served with this esteemed council. It's bittersweet to step down, but I will assure that the people coming in sign on the right forms so that they can speak about the right issue. I will be in the back. I won't make faces at you, I promise. I'll try not to. And it's an honor to continue to serve the city. We love this city. Our family came, we moved to Idaho because we sensed God calling us to move to Idaho and had no idea what God had in store for us. So one thing we know is we love this city. We want to continue to serve this city and make this city the best place in America. So, and for those of you who came, you're the remnant of people who are very interested and invested in our city. So thanks for coming to these council meetings. I know many of you are here celebrating Jacob Bauer's election, Councilwoman Levi's re-election, as well as Councilman Bruner's re-election. And I just want to thank my colleagues and thank you for coming out and being part of this civic work. America is the greatest place on earth, and Nampa represents the best of America, and it's an honor to continue to serve this community. So thank you, and thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Yep.
And rather than going back up there, we are going to adjourn sine die. And I don't believe we need a vote for that, right? We just adjourn sine die. Let's look real quickly. Yeah, just adjourn sine die. So that is a pause because we are going to now go through the oath of office for our new officials that are taking their seats tonight. And I don't think we'll do a pause. We're just going to go right into that. So we're going to begin, and I'm sorry, I got to get on my notes, right? So, do you, well, we're starting with Jacob. So, Jacob, would you like to come forward? So, and would your wife like to come join you? And anyone else? Congratulations. I have to say, I'm thrilled to have you as part of our council. I know that you're going to do an excellent job. Thank you for allowing him to join us and put forth the effort that it's going to take. But I am fully convinced that you are going to serve our community well, and thank you very much. So I have the opportunity to swear you in. And so this is I believe it's a 1902 Bible that belongs to the city of Nampa. And so if you want to put your hand on there and read after me. I, Jacob Bauer, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Idaho, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Counselor of the City of Nampa according to the best of my ability. You are sworn in. Congratulations. So please. Before you do that, would you like to say something?
Okay, no, I just want to thank my parents who have always been there for me, first and foremost, and then I want to thank my family, but most importantly, my wife, who's been, she's the love of my life, and I couldn't do anything without her, and she's supported me every step of the way, so love her more than anything, and grateful for this opportunity to serve the city the best I can.
That's the whole.
Whoever you want to be up here in a photo. You decide.
Hey, you're about the same height they are. 1'6". Yeah, 6'7", 6'5". Yeah, yeah. Good thing me and Randy don't go up there.
I should have started coming down earlier. Darrell, you want me to come down? Yeah.
As Darrell makes his way down, I just want to say that at the time, as Darrell was considering, he asked if I wanted him to run again. And I was like a huge yes. I have greatly appreciated his leadership on the council. And so, Darrell, I'm thrilled you're here. So I'm glad you've stayed in. We're going to make that a record. So, who would you like to have come up and join you?
I think I have two here, two of my favorite ladies. So my 30-year-old wife and my 90-year-old mother. Actually, let's try 43 years of marriage. So
There you go.
and she's put up with a lot. Let me tell you, this lady in there 90 years.
You guys have made generationally a big difference in this community, and I just want to say thank you. Right? You fell off a good tree here, right? I don't know how to, yeah, I could have said that better, but it's good.
How I originated from this little lady. That's the question.
Oh, it's good. So do you want to, shall we? There we go. So I, Darrell Bruner,
I, Darrell Bruner,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
as counselor of the City of Nampa
as counselor of the City of Nampa
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities with God's help. Yes.
There you go. Congratulations and thank you.
Just say a couple of things. Some of you do not know me, but those who do know me, I'm pretty blunt. And I'll just say a couple of things, and something will probably come of this. But my prayer is that Nampa will never become politically incorrect. Okay? Faith in God, faith in this word, Jesus Christ, that we will keep that tradition. Number two, that family, traditional family, will be maintained in the city of Nampa. And I pray for those things daily. And those are the two, there's so many things to get done in this city, but those are the two items that need to be maintained in this wonderful city. So thank you so much, and thank you for your support. Those of you who have supported me, I'm honored. Thank you.
Okay, so Sandy already warned me. Those in purple that want to come up afterwards, she wants a photo. So we'll probably do two photos. One with family and one with the team in purple. You know, one thing we decided to do is that a lot of work goes into running for office. And I think it's important to honor those that have made the decision to step forward and serve our community. And so that's what we're doing this evening. That's special. It's kind of hard to get us both in here, so here we go. So I, Sandy Levi, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Idaho, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Counselor of the City of Nampa according to the best of my ability. Thank you and congratulations. And the rest of the purple movement, come over here and start getting ready, okay?
Jeez. That's why you're wearing purple. There you go. Hey, Steve. How are you, sir? Good to see you, bud.
There you go. You want to join that?
Oh, my God. Yeah, I guess. How you doing? See you. That's why you guys are wearing purple. I wasn't wearing purple. You want to wear my shirt? Getting out of this. Hey, Sharon. Oh, Pete. You're okay. You're wearing purple.
Yes, 'cause this thing is gonna, okay.
Mark,
Well,
Mark, you're in
We're gonna do a panorama, so everybody has to hold really still. Okay? Okay, are we ready? Am I okay to go? Okay, everybody hold still. Your time's coming. Oh, yeah. There y'all are. Good job. Look great.
I think, yeah, it's next, yeah. Oh, I forgot. Yes, Sandy. Go for it.
Oh,
Actually, I have something I'm going to do to council. I'm not sure whether to do it. Maybe I should.
Yeah.
you're on.
Thank you to everyone, and I want to thank the community that came forward to me and was insistent that I run again for a second term. I could not have done it without you. It has been my pleasure to serve. You have grown me, you have stretched my thinking, but you have allowed me to serve you, and there is no greater pleasure. I want to see the core values of Nampa be retained, and that is my passion. So get in touch with me, let me know how I can serve you, how I can connect with your organization, and thank you again for this awesome opportunity.
So I have, let's see. It's different to be on this side, but I had something I wanted to read to council tonight, or that I wanted to say. And it's really awkward because I can't face you, but actually I'm mostly speaking to council and to us. So I'm just going to read what I've written. First of all, I want to thank you for your willingness to run for office and to serve the citizens of Nampa. It's important that we have leaders with a heart to serve the interests of the people rather than their own interests. And I believe that each of you have that desire. According to the City of Nampa ordinance, I think you guys all know this, the role of the City Council is to, as members of the legislative and policy-making branch of the city, the council shall devote as much time as is required for the efficient and faithful discharge of their duties. They shall attend all council meetings unless lawfully excused by the mayor or by a majority of the remaining members of council. They shall also perform all duties reasonably expected of them by nature of their office, including but not limited to the passing of ordinances and resolutions, as well as investigation and study of work done for the city according to the committees upon which they may be appointed by the mayor. As time permits, I know that you each do more than that. Thank you for attending the numerous ribbon cuttings, grand openings, and other special events that take place each year. I know you guys stay very busy and it's appreciated. You're each serving on various commissions and committees, and with the changes in 2 council seats, I will be reviewing appointments and discussing new appointments as we look for the coming 2 years. I just know I probably won't be changing NDC, Compass, or VRT because they're appointed a little differently with board approval, so they'll stay, but we will talk through the others. I wanted to real quickly go back over the city's core values, which are stewardship. You guys decided these. Stewardship, integrity, and teamwork. And I just wanted to share briefly, if I can talk, what those mean to me. So to me, stewardship is the careful and responsible management of our city resources that have been entrusted to our oversight. When we don't invest where we need to so that we look good politically, or if we kick the can down the road, I don't consider that stewardship. I think it's about taking careful care of our resources and investing where we need to at the right time for the right season and the right reason. Integrity, honesty, and truth. I believe the city should never have loopholes or ways to get around something, that our goal is to serve with transparency and excellence. We need to be people of our word. I believe we are these things. Teamwork. In looking up the definition of teamwork, it says that it's work done by several associates with each doing a part, but all subordinating personal prominence for the efficiency of the whole. And you know, I've watched us get there as a council, and I love that. I thought the definition was so appropriate. As a nation, founded on the principles, our nation was founded on the principles of one nation under God, and our forefathers fought for this nation that we have the privilege of living in. That said, as a nation, it seems that we no longer live in or fight for those principles. The beauty of local government is that we have the opportunity to be an example of what those who went before us fought for. And I think we're doing that as a local city in our local government. I appreciate each of you. I say that sincerely. I appreciate each of you and the values that you adhere to. We may not all agree on certain decisions, but the one thing we all agree in is our faith in the God of this nation and our desire to allow the city of Nampa to be a city that our forefathers would have been proud of. George Washington said, "It's impossible to rightly govern the world without God and the Bible." He also said, "The favorable smile of heaven can never be expected on a nation that disregards the eternal rules of order and right which heaven itself has ordained." I'm thankful that our city council is aligned on an important foundation, and that's the same foundation that our founding fathers adhered to. Abraham Lincoln said, "It often requires more courage to dare to do right than to fear to do wrong." I just want to say thank you for your courage as you serve this community, daring to do right rather than fearing to do wrong. I appreciate each of you, and I consider it an honor to serve alongside you. So I just wanted to say thank you for being here. You're appreciated. And now we'll move into the meeting.
Yeah, this is exit time. Have a good dinner. Okay. Everybody's gonna leave now.
I was thinking about it last night. As they leave, let's go ahead and do roll call of the new council.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Brunner?
Here.
Hogaboom? Here. Levi?
Present?
Haverfield?
Here.
Bauer?
Here.
The first order of business tonight is the election of the council president. And just for those here, I don't have the ordinance language in front of me, but the role of the council president is to serve in the absence of the mayor to run this meeting. But it is truly the decision of the council, and it's at the will of the council. And so with that, I will say that is the next order of business, and I will leave it to the council as we move forward. And I would say, what is the will of the council?
Yeah, Mayor, I'm going to jump in quickly here because it's my honor to nominate Randy Haverfield as our president for the next 2 years. Is that correct? 2 years. So that is my motion.
Second?
So it's been moved and seconded, and as normal, there's an opportunity for discussion and comment. Okay. Seeing none. Councilman Haverfield.
No, I was just gonna, it's an honor to have that nomination and to serve on this council with you. It's truly a privilege to serve the community together. Thank you.
Hearing no further discussion, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Levi?
No.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda are proclamations, and we have no proclamations this evening. Do we have Nampa residents wishing to speak on an agenda item? Did we have anyone sign up this evening? We did? Thank you. Okay, so Mr. William Rex? Okay. As you come, I'm going to read your address at 1216 Holly, Nampa. And I believe this is on an agenda item or a non-agenda item?
It's probably non-agenda, I would think.
Okay.
Okay. When last we were here on the matter of code violations at 1215 Garland Street, Nampa, Idaho, Her Honor the Mayor stated a citation had been issued and the matter was now out of the hands of the elected city government. That statement, however, has been overtaken by multiple events, none which have produced the desired results, namely the cleanup of the property at 1215 Garland Street, Nampa, Idaho. We have here again another bit of information for each council member.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sir? Unless the mayor has some other ideas as to what we should do about this, we will be here for every council meeting going forward to bring you up on current events on this issue. So,
I appreciate you coming forward, and I would have to get the update on this. And as I turn to my new chief of staff that has the oversight of code enforcement, when he starts a week from now.
great. That's what we'll do then.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll get to know each other.
All right.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. The next person that is signed up to speak is Mary Ann. To Shan, thank you. Hi, Mary Ann. I have your address down at 127 Hudson Avenue, Apartment B, Nampa. Is that correct?
That's right.
Thank you. And this is a non-agenda item?
It is, yes. I wanted to ask the city council to set up a committee to deal with the problem of rent control and a rent cap in our area. And my heart's wish is that it could be a Treasure Valley-wide policy, but the cities are very different from each other in some respects, you know, Meridian, Cuna, Caldwell to Star, the whole thing. But I think that this issue needs to be dealt with because I know of 3 instances where rent was raised or is being considered raised, and I honestly don't know if there's anything in set up in this area. I knew some people that lived in a home and were paying rent. They were good renters, no holes in the wall or anything, for $900 a month. Somebody bought the home and then raised the rent to $1,600 that month. So those people were forced to move. I'm sure some of you know about this situation. I know another individual who's rented for a certain amount, and a realtor is looking at that property, and they don't know what is going to happen. So I'm not against a good deal, but I am against greed or something that is catches people by surprise in this area. So my first question is, and it doesn't have to be answered tonight, of course, but what is in place now? Is there anything for landlord and tenants? And also, I wanted to, in terms of a committee, I think we need to consider responsibilities of tenants as well as responsibilities of landlords. So I was proposing, I mean, I'd love to serve on a committee, but a couple of my ideas were that rent could be raised by 5%, 5 to 7% every 3 years, which wouldn't be out of range. You know, just different things like giving a tenant not just 1 month, but maybe 2 months or even 3 months if there was going to be an increase. And taking into mind that there's different income levels. And I'm not an expert in this area at all, but I sort of sketched out something, people that make $150,000 up to whatever, $450,000 or above. Then there's an $80,000 to $150,000 level. And then there's people under that and maybe even people that make $20,000 and less. So, but the principle is the same. So I just wanted to ask the council to set up a committee, and I'm happy to type this up for you. I'm sorry, I just didn't get to it, so that can be distributed to all of you.
Thank you so much for coming forward. I appreciate it. If you will send an email to mayor@cityofnampa.us, you can find it online. So send it to our mayor's office, and then we will forward that to the council, and then we will discuss exactly what you've suggested.
Great, thank you.
I appreciate you bringing it forward. It's been discussed with the mayors across the Treasure Valley. It is absolutely something that we're aware of. It just has to do with legislating it.
Okay.
So, thank
Great,
you.
thanks.
That is all that I have signed up to speak. Is there anyone else that had intended to speak on it this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will move on. The next item on the agenda are mayor and council comments. And so I would like to just mention that as Councilman Hogelboom is stepping down, tonight will be his last night sitting on the council. He begins in our office on the 13th. We have requested people that had interest in serving on the council to submit an application. We currently have, I'm not sure if it's 26, 20, or 27. We may have 28 applications. We have a lot of applications. We had a lot that came in today. And so, which is pretty exciting that we have that many people that are interested in serving. So I just wanted to say the process is going to be, we can only have 2 city council members work together so that we stay out of a serial meeting. So we'll have 2 city council members reviewing. I'm going to have 3 buckets of people that are providing input. I'm going to have a staff group that's going to consist of staff members related to the focus areas of the city. The council identified that we have 3 focus areas: safety, infrastructure, and economic opportunity. Those 3 areas, I'm going to have staff representing those 3 areas join us in reviewing the applications and suggesting questions. The third group is going to be a citizens group of approximately 6 local citizens that is going to also help us. What I'm going to do is I'm asking for questions that these different groups would like to submit. We will be communicating later this week out to each of those applicants a list of questions that they need to respond to. And we will distribute those responses and the answers to those questions out to the various groups that are doing the review. And then I'm going to be asking for some recommendations from each group and/or individual of the top 2 or 3 candidates that they would like to see move on to an interview process. So we're going to have a group of about, I'm going to say it's about 12, approximately, maybe 14 people that are going to be assisting in this process. It's going to be a lot of work for those because we have a lot of applicants. And then I anticipate having a decision and a recommendation by the February, I think it's the 4th, I forget the exact date. It's the first council meeting in February. So that's when we'll have a decision, and then we'll put the name before the council for their approval.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mayor, one thing, I know we had discussion, and I did not mention this, so I apologize, but it just came to mind, the one area as far as staff too is budgeting in finance director. So I would just make a recommendation that Doug, our finance director, would be involved with that also, besides the other 3 bodies.
Perfect. And I've included planning and zoning.
Okay.
Because of, so it's, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
If he's okay with doing that, so.
He's buried with auditors, but he said he'd be happy to do
I'll
whatever.
find the time.
Yes.
A lot of applications.
We know he has a bed here, so we're
Yes.
good, okay.
It's a busy season, but it's good. I'm thrilled to see that many people that are interested in serving our community. So thank you. A couple of you are here, so thank you. Okay, are there any other comments? Yes.
Mayor Kling, fellow council members, I was hoping to have more of a report tonight for the Napa Development Corporation and what's happening there. It's pretty exciting. I see Robin's here, so maybe she can correct me if I say anything incorrect, but we're currently working with bond counsel to consolidate to do the 2 bonds, to be able to roll those into one, shorten the time frame for the payoff of what's still owed as far as with those bonds, and to save, it looks like we're going to be able to save approximately $5 million in interest payments by virtue of taking advantage of what's currently the market is, we're able to take advantage of. So pretty exciting. When I was elected 6 years ago, that was one of the main things we wanted to focus on, was reining in the cost associated with those 2 bonds, and looks like we're on a path to be able to accomplish that. So pretty exciting things to come. Hopefully by the next council meeting, I'll be able to share the true report at that point.
And Mayor, if I just may, because I also serve on this commission, and just want, and Councilman Haverfield has been a huge part of that. Well, I want to also give kudos and credit to David Bills, who's the chairperson of the NDC, and moving ahead with this, and the other, of course, fellow commissioners. So, thanks.
Thank you both, and to David and the rest of the commissioners. Your stewardship, that is stewardship. Thank you. We appreciate that, because that savings in our community is massive. So thank you so much for your service. We do not have any agency were there any other council comments?
Just brief. I know that I think signatures are already starting to be collected on if I understand, on the auditorium district matter, and we will. I know the mayor plans on putting that hopefully on the next council agenda to hear an informational report on that. So we certainly are aware that citizens are being informed about it, and hopefully we get for the record something that's reported here that it can be archived and help us just in communications. I know we can't advocate as a city, but we can definitely inform, and so we want our citizens to know exactly what's happening. So I know Kenny's working on that, and so just look forward to hearing more about that. So yeah.
We'll do that under agency reports and commission reports at the next council meeting. Thank you. Any others? Seeing none. We do not have any agency commission reports this evening, no staff communication this evening. We were trying to get this really a shortened meeting, but it was kind of hard. So we do have a number of new business items. So we have just a couple minutes before the public hearing, so we'll move on at this time to new business. Business item 5.1 is an action item. This is a resolution that City Council would appoint Casey Wittenborn, David Bills, Michael Fuse, Greg Toolson, Jimmy Ray Church, Joe Bongiorno, I think I said that wrong, and John Cotner to the Building and Fire Code Advisory and Appeals Board.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
question for you. As I was reading through the applicants and their job positions, one of them was a Meridian Fire Department. I'm assuming that there's representation from the Nampa Fire Department on this committee, or how does that work?
Mayor and Councilwoman Levi, we always have one of the required members of this Building and Fire Code Advisory Committee is a fire code official that's outside of our jurisdiction. Myself as building official and Ron Johnson, who will be our future fire marshal, are going to be the two city staff members who are non-voting members who would then actually bring issues to this board.
Thank you.
Thank you. So is there any other question or discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Item 5.2 is an action item. This is a resolution that the City Council appoint Dennis Davis and reappoint Ron Van Acker, Chip Kingsler, David Bills, and Sharon Harris to the Impact Fee Advisory Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor, just question, and one I'm not familiar with is Mr. Davis. I do know, as far as he is not from, I read his resume, so he's not representing the development community?
Patrick, you're going to have to answer this, please.
Perhaps I can answer that question.
Okay.
He was former plans examiner for the city of Nampa,
Right.
head of the building department.
Yeah, I guess I'm just looking, I understand there's developers and realtors in here, but there's a cross-section
Right.
of that. So before, we had a body of, with Sharon serving and so on, not in as a citizen, but I just want to,
Mr. Mayor and Councilman Brunner, Mr. Davis is retired. He's a retired director of building safety and
Right.
facilities development, and also a certified building official. So he is in the industry.
okay.
So he's an
And I know the impact, I know there can be recommendations from this committee, and it would come before this council before anything, would be resolved as far as a movement. It would impact fees or whatever, which we have already moved on, of course, in the past. But, okay, I mean, he looked like a good resume. I just wanted to make sure we have representation from citizens, too, that are not necessarily in the development committee, so, okay,
and
community.
He's retired now as well. So
Okay.
I mean, but he does bring a wealth of experience.
Okay, very good. Aye.
Mayor Clayton.
Yes.
Don't leave yet. As far as I'm aware of, this is a good group of individuals that's working for our city. But I also know that several of these, Ron Van Acker and David Bills, they already belong to another organization within the city, right? So are we giving up ample opportunity to others within the city to be involved in our community? Or are we just going to appoint the same ones throughout the city regarding those committees?
Mayor and Councilman Rodriguez, we did put out a public call for additional members, and we did not have the qualified members that fit the actual job descriptions that are necessary to be on this particular advisory committee. And just wanted to remind you, there's typically just an annual meeting, and then every 3 years is the minimum that we have to change impact fees or even look at impact fees. So they won't have much to do unless we decide to look at impact fees in 2 years or something.
The point is, I think these are good guys. I think these are good men and women. And but I just wanted to see a different opportunity for other individuals in our community. But this is what we got. This is the best that we have. So thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, you're welcome.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you, Patrick. If I might follow up, and I do appreciate Councilman Bruner and Councilman Rodriguez's comments, because you know where I stand on this already. When you say that no one else met the requirements, are there required positions as far as, like, I know on the Historic Arts and Preservation Committee, you have to have an architect, engineer, that kind of a type of thing. But there are some at-large citizens that don't have that background. So my two-pronged question is, one, are they required to have that background, or is there also an opportunity that we could educate more people in Nampa to come forward and say, there are opportunities to learn and to educate yourself. It's not limited to having to have that development background, because that does narrow the field too much. And I really I appreciate these people stepping up, but when it's the same people over and over serving on committees, it really is limiting from 105,000 people.
Mayor and Councilwoman Levi, that's a great question. Our ordinance dictates certain professions. We need a residential builder, a commercial builder, and then we also need, a couple people that are in the industry, and then one citizen at large, and that is dictated through the state code. And we basically took the state impact fee code and we wrote our ordinance around it. So we're using the same metrics that the state uses that basically informs jurisdictions who have impact fee advisory committees and impact fee programs on how they should assemble their board.
So follow-up question, if I might, maybe clarification more than anything. If we have two that are in, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. They're already in development, and then we have to have two from the industry. Is that one and the same?
I think it's maybe one from the industry. I may have misspoke because this is one, two, let's see, David, Chip, Ron.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Just to interject. So those specific, Mayor and Councilwoman Levi, those specific requirements are for the Building and Fire Appeals Board, or if you have a residential builder, commercial builder. Our city code for the Development Impact Fee Advisory Committee says it's a 5-member committee. 3 members have to be active in business development, building, or real estate. And then 2 members have to be from the residents of the city of Nampa who are not active in business development, building, or real estate. So that one is less specific, but it does impose sort of employment and non-employment requirements to make sure that there's some breadth to the experience of the people on that body.
Thank you. So I guess my next question is, other than Ms. Sharon Harris, do we have another that's a resident?
Yes, Dennis Davis would be the other. He's been retired for 8 years and been living the life of leisure as a retired person.
Thank you. Well, again, I want to make sure that everyone in our community is of the understanding you can serve on these boards, and just because you might not have this background does not eliminate you from having the ability to serve, but yet we do have to honor code.
So these are done specifically according to statute and ordinance, which they would not come forward if we hadn't complied with that. Just so you know, we would never submit something that did not comply. What we do, and it's been evidenced by a response of 27 people for the city council position, we put it out through Nextdoor, through Facebook, multiple times. And so it is out there before the public. We also have people reach out and talk to people that they know that are serving. So all we can do as a city is get the information out there, but we can't make people say they're going to serve. And so we do reach out, and sometimes it is the same people that are really paying attention, that are desiring to serve. But I feel that we're doing a really good job of getting the communication out to the best of our ability. And city council members are always welcome to recruit and to reach out and say, hey, we have these positions open. We've had a number of positions open. We've got a library board position to fill. We had planning and zoning. We've had a number of positions, and we put those out via social media and Nextdoor and press release. Idaho Press picked it up this week, which probably accounts for why we have so many applications for city council. So, yeah, I can't speak to why the same people are raising their hand, but I am extremely thankful that they're serving, so.
And Mayor, I appreciate and respect the efforts that are made, but I've had people come up to me and say, well, I could never hold a position on such and such committee because I don't have the background or the education or whatever it might be. And I just want to make sure that we are getting the word out that it's not necessarily a background, but many times it's a desire to serve and to learn. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Mayor, just not to prolong, but since one of our servants of this city is sitting out here and she serves on this committee and does so many other things, but Sharon Harris, so I just want to recognize that out her and appreciate it. And I don't think you guys hardly miss a council meeting, do you? No? Okay. Anyway,
Mayor Kling.
appreciate that.
Patrick, I know there's a council liaison to the Impact Fee Advisory Committee. Is there also one for the Building and Fire Code Advisory Committee?
There is not, Mayor and Councilman Haverfield, there is not for that board.
And that board meets possibly once a year, maybe?
It's an annual, mandatory manual meeting, and we'll have it after the legislative session when there's code revisions or possible revisions to building codes. And then it just serves, we've never had to use this board since I've been here almost 7 years for any type of appeal, because typically we find a path to code compliance for people rather than letting it escalate to some type of an appeal.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion?
I just want to echo the efforts that are being made. We'll keep doing. I know Amy's putting out, I even see on like the social media engagement to invite applicants. So I know that we are doing our job on our end. Maybe what we can do, and maybe there are emails that are sent to the council whenever that's being sent out. So it's easy for you to just copy paste the link and share it with people that you might know. But certainly we want to provide ample opportunity. So I'm just taking notes as well as I transition. So we do want to get the word out, and we are, and we'll continue to do that. So, yeah.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, it's already been moved and seconded, and I believe we're ready for roll call.
Brunner,
Yes.
Hogaboom,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Haverfield.
Yes.
So it is a little after 7, and at this time, we will move over to our public hearings. And we have 3 public hearings this evening. And the first public hearing, thank you, is annexation and zoning to RS6, single-family residential at 842 West Greenhurst Road for a lot split. This is for a portion of lots 14 and 50 of Home Acres Subdivision Number 6. This is for David Demol. How do you say your last name, David? Where's David? Hi, come on up. Mayola? Would that be correct? Dave Mayola? Say it one more time.
Demiola.
Demiola. Thank you, and I'm so sorry I messed it up. So thank you for coming forward as our applicant. Go ahead and say your name again, address, and then we'll let you just talk to us about what you're doing.
All right. So yeah, I'm David Demiola, 842 West Greenhurst Road. And yeah, good evening, council. So what I'm trying to do is just I do a lot split at my personal residence. Reason being, when me and my wife were looking for a place, we were looking for about an acre. And what we found was great, but it is a 3-acre property, so just a little more than we could really do anything with or handle. So we're just trying to split the back 2 acres off so we can sell those and then just keep the 1 acre in the front.
Wonderful. Council, do you have any questions?
Mayor
for
Kling?
Applicant? Yes.
Are you looking to subdivide the additional acreage that you're selling off, or just selling it as one parcel?
Just as a single parcel at this time.
Will it have a building permit allowed for it after you sell it?
Previously, there was already one building permit on the property.
For the whole property, including the part that you're going to keep?
No, for the additional part of the property.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So I guess that's the question I had, is that you've worked with staff to ensure that if you do actually do this, that you can get a permit and accomplish what you're intending to accomplish. Staff, have you worked with him with that? Who's been your connect?
I've been talking with Sylvia.
With Sylvia? Okay.
And so far, as far as in that area, there's actually a couple building developments that have gone up in very similar lot dynamics. So it should be pretty straightforward as far as what we're trying to accomplish there.
Perfect. Well, thank you. So this will be a public hearing, and you'll have the opportunity, if we discuss things or have questions, you'll have the opportunity to come back. So that's it for right now. We'll have a staff report, and then we've got a couple of other people signed up to testify, and then we'll have you come back towards the end.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this matter did go before the Planning and Zoning Commission. They have recommended approval. It's as we mentioned earlier, that's right here, 3-acre parcel, 130,000 square feet plus, shown in red here on the exhibit. The proposed zone is single-family residential, same as the zoning across the street to the south as well as to the west. And again, it's surrounded by rural residential properties or single-family residential properties, pretty much. And it is an enclaved parcel, surrounded by city limits, or a portion of an enclaved area. As you can see there, there's a number of parcels that are crosshatched, which means that they're enclaved. So this would be bringing a parcel into the city that's surrounded by the city. Comprehensive plan for the location is medium-density residential, which is typical for the RS zone designation. Utilities are available in the area in Greenhurst. We've got water, sewer, and irrigation in the area already. Access would be from Greenhurst. There's an aerial view of the property. Bird's eye view, the same thing. You see the parcel here in question. At the request of the council, we're beginning to show the list of allowable land uses, permitted and conditional in a zone. This is what it is for the single-family zone. We've attached a full copy of that in the staff report and a link to our website that you can click on in the staff report if you wish to look at those in detail. But there's the exhibit on the left that shows those permitted conditional uses in the RS zone. Also, we've attached a copy of the sign restrictions for the RS zone. Whether it's a commercial or industrial or residential zone, we'll be starting to do this as a part of the staff presentation so that you can see what is allowed for signage as well as use on those properties. Engineering staff has listed a number of conditions that are typical for annexation. I won't go through these in any detail unless the council has any questions on them. You can read them and could have read them in the staff report. Number of conditions, because it is there's some deferral agreements and memorandums of understanding applicable to this that are discussed in these conditions, and the applicant, I believe, is aware of this, and the builder that is building on these properties as well next door have this memorandum, and this third condition there from the engineering department discusses how that affects this adjoining property. And the recommended findings you have listed on the staff report again on the overhead. I won't go through those unless you have any discussion points on them. It does conform with the comp plan for that location, the zoning that's proposed. And, again, it makes sense to zone it single-family residential as surrounds the property already. Any questions?
Yeah, Mayor, Council. I have a question. If
you go back to the deferral agreement, yes, on that item, I recall saying that this may trigger, help me recollect, the undeveloped public right-of-way. Have you determined that, whether it does or
I
doesn't?
will let engineer
Okay.
Badger explain that.
Mayor, Councilman Hogaboam, with the development of a single home back there, it will likely not trigger that. If they were to sell it and whoever purchases it looks at wanting to divide that into more than one single-family home lot, at that point, then we would look at triggering the construction within that unimproved right.
Can you explain again just the unique features of those properties? And I know that the public, my dad lives down Greenhurst, so he is trying to make sense of how the public right of way and how the development is working and where it triggers and whatnot. So I just for the record.
So the parcel that we have the existing development or memorandum of understanding on is here with the Wolf Building Company. They came in a number of months ago for their annexation. This right-of-way here, it was dedicated in the highway district, and so it's a piece of right-of-way that's been there for a number of years, but never been utilized as a public street. And so in the memorandum of understanding that we did with them, we noted that their access for this parcel would need to be taken off of that unimproved right-of-way. They would improve it to the level of a driveway. They would also dedicate a couple more feet of right-of-way to make that into a full public street when the time comes. If at that time, the Wolf Company, they were looking at doing about 4 lots along there. We wanted to preserve the ability for this property here to develop in a similar city-type densities. And so that's what we looked at as a mechanism to allow them to proceed and not put in improvements that were not necessary right now. But if this property were to develop in those similar natures, then we would trigger that and require those properties along there to do those improvements.
So is the hypothetical development is what retains the keeping the option open, so nothing's permanently landlocked? If
Correct.
It's moved off. Okay.
Correct. So if we are looking at just 2 houses on this, one in the existing house in the front and a new house in the back here, that would not trigger a need for this to be a public street. It would just need to, it could continue as a common driveway until such time as something did redevelop there to increase the density.
Is there also a deferral agreement on the sidewalk in the front?
Yes, there is for the Wolf Company, council did approve a deferral agreement for the sidewalk along the front there.
So what triggers the kicking in where you go in and you require, as there's continued development, that deferral agreement? At what point do you go back and say, you know what, there's enough development that everyone needs to build their sidewalk?
So typically what we would do every year when we go through and look at those deferral agreements, they're mapped within our GIS system. And so we look at where do we have those deferral agreements? Are there areas where we now have a good block that would make sense to have that done? And then we could include that within a local improvement district or go to those property owners and, talk to them about how they would like to do that. For the most part, the other time that would potentially happen is if we had a city project going in there and we're doing a portion of stuff in there, we would call those deferral agreements in at that time as well.
Any further questions?
Yes, I have a question for Norm, please. Yes. Just for clarity purposes. So if we approve the split and looking at the permitted uses, the person in the back of the property would need to come to P&Z and get a building permit.
You come to the building department, yes.
And is that where it would stop, or would they go to a hearing? Because I'm just looking at some of the uses, and one of the things I'm concerned about is I know that I don't know what's in the surrounding area. And I look at some of the uses and I'm wondering, are they compatible? So once somebody comes in for that building permit, what is the process?
Well, in the RS district, the permitted uses that are on your permitted list,
Mhm.
they're allowed. There's no review other than if they're a permitted use, they're issued a building permit. If it's a conditional use, then that would take it to the level of a conditional use permit. It would come before the Planning and Zoning Commission, which they'd have to obtain before they got the building permit.
So the CUP would come before us or stop at P and Z
It would
hearing?
come before at present, it would come before the Planning and Zoning Commission only.
And just, I want to thank you for putting in the zoning and also the signage, because having it just right there makes it really convenient. Thank you.
We appreciate your suggesting that.
If there are no further questions, this is a public hearing, and we will open it up for public testimony. We do have a couple of people signed up, actually in opposition. No, excuse me, in support. So excuse me for saying that wrong. And one is David, who just spoke. And then Kaylor? Kaylor, are you here? Hi, did you want to speak this evening? You're welcome to. As you come forward, go ahead and say your name and your address. And we look forward to hearing from you.
Yes, my name's Kaylor, and I'm at 842 West Greenhurst. I'm David's wife. So I'm supporting this because I think that there's plenty of room for a house or two back there, whatever just whoever buys the property decides to do with it. There's a road going back there and plenty of space, and I think it could support projects back there. But that's all I have to say, really. If you have any questions.
Thank you so much for coming forward.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. It's wonderful for a young couple to be able to get started. And so that's a great thing. And for your ingenuity and thinking about how to make it all work. So good for you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So there is no one signed up to oppose. David, you have already spoken, and I'll let you come up and close. But is there anyone else here this evening that had intended to testify on behalf of, in support or opposition to this, that did not get signed up? Seeing none. David, do you have any further comments as we close out the public hearing?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. My only question or concern, rather, I guess in planning and zoning meeting, they had indicated the lot split was at that line you see up on the map right now, near the middle of the property, which that's actually just a line that dictates the back of that public access. So it was really just to depict where that is coming across. So what we had talked about and what the plan, what should be laid out is to split the back 2 acres from the remaining property, which will count to be less than an acre, all said and done, just because of the right of way we're dedicating to the city in the front and a little bit extra on the side of that public access as well.
So that said, my guess is that's a question just to clarify that you can do that, and that I think we're voting today on annexation and zoning, but I think what if I hear you correctly, you're wanting to clarify, make sure we understand that it isn't exactly as depicted. And as far as for staff, does that matter?
That's correct. I think this was just the drawings that were submitted by the engineer that prepared the application for the applicant. That split line doesn't have to be where it's shown there. It can be where the applicant wants it.
Thank you for confirming that. Wonderful. And David, do you have any other comments?
No, that will be all. Yeah, thank you.
Mayor Kling?
Yes.
Quick question for you, David. Have you reviewed the conditions of approval, and do you have any issues with them?
No, sir. Obviously, I'd prefer to keep more property than not, but I do understand the need the city has for expanding access and obviously in order to maintain accessible roads. So it's definitely something we're willing to give up in order to obviously be a part of the city and have the benefits of the utility and the access.
Right, thank you.
And just that said, understanding, right, on-site wells and septics would be abandoned, right?
It did say on there, abandoned for future construction.
At the time of property development or, right?
Yes, ma'am. So when I had spoken at the previous hearing, they had indicated that the existing property would not have to be switched onto city water because it was already in place and it does run off the well.
Okay. And is that correct? I see the question, heads nodding, yes, thank you. You know, with someone that is not a developer, and as an individuals, I think we have a responsibility as a city to protect them, because you've not walked through this before. And so that's why I'm asking questions, just to make sure that you fully understand and that we've done our due diligence in communicating to you, whereas you, because you're not a developer, I'm assuming, and if it's your first time to do it, we just want to make sure you fully understand it.
Yes, ma'am.
So, good. Okay. I don't think I have any, council, any other further questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening, council.
So I would stand for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council discussion?
May I make the motion to approve annexation zoning to RS6, single-family residential at 842 West Greenhurst with conditions of approval for David DeMaiola.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there a discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
So you're done? Yes?
Maybe we should get the doctor to make a first motion.
Well, maybe we'll just all pause on one later, or give him, or give him a meeting.
There you go.
We'll wait on a hard one.
Yeah. Okay, item 6.2 is also a public hearing. This is an action item. This is rescission of a development agreement between Caribou Mountain Ventures LLC and the City of Nampa that was recorded on 12/30 of 2013 for Lava Falls subdivision at 0 and 2718 East Locust Lane. This is for 39 single-family dwellings on 11.595 acres, and which averages 2.36 average dwelling units per gross acre. Again, for Caribou Mountain Ventures LLC, Ed Pretty is the applicant here. I don't see them. Okay, staff.
Mayor, may I make a motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to continue this hearing until the individuals are here to present the case.
Since there's a motion on the table, is there a second for that motion?
Second.
Okay, so for discussion, Christy, just real quickly, was the applicant aware of?
They were. We
Okay.
spoke with them actually on Thursday. I want to say we met with them on Thursday. And I said, I have been instructed by Sylvia to tell you in person that you have a meeting to be at on Monday. And they said, okay. So,
Okay.
Face-to-face contact with them. I guess what I would like to relay to you is that this is a rescission of a development agreement. The preliminary plat has already been approved based on what your decision is tonight. So you're basically removing a requirement on the property and allowing it to go forward as a single-family subdivision. If you have questions for the developer, I understand the continuance. If not, it's really a pretty simple request. So.
Yeah, Mayor, Council, I won't support the motion to postpone because it is a rescission from storage units back to residential, from what I understand. And so I am happy to expedite that rescission so that they can go back to develop something other than a storage unit. Yeah, so thank you.
Absolutely the direction we
Yes,
want
yes.
to
And,
go.
and- and Mayor, I will also not be supporting the motion.
Nor will I.
Okay, so that said, we do have a motion on the table, and since we do, if it does not pass, then we can move forward and go where we want to go. But because there is a motion on the table, is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call.
Brunner?
No.
Hogaboom?
No.
Haverfield?
No.
Bauer?
No.
Levi?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for your motion, Councilman Rodriguez. I understand the
It's just due
principle.
process for me,
It's
Mayor.
due process.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, that said, as that failed, and we do have a public hearing in process right now. I will say that applicant is not here. How about if we proceed with the staff report?
All right.
You can quickly go through it, and we do not have anyone here to testify on behalf of or against. So let's go ahead and do staff report, and then we'll decide where we need to go from here.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and council members. Christy Watkins, planner with the City of Nampa. The request before you this evening is approval to rescind the development agreement on the property that is proposed to be developed as the Lava Falls subdivision with single-family residential lots. It is located on East Locust Lane and west of Southside Boulevard. Property is currently zoned RP and is surrounded by county and city residentially zoned properties. The property was previously approved for development with single-family residential lots, but the preliminary plat expired in May of 2008. In 2010, there was a request for a comprehensive plan amendment and rezone with a concept for mini storage units, which was denied based on the appropriateness of assigning a BC zone to the property at that location. Because of that denial, the application was withdrawn and did not go forward to City Council. There was a follow-up application dated June of 2011 requesting the RP zoning with allowance for mini storage through a CUP approval. There were concerns about the commercial use resulting in a spot zone at that location, and a mini storage use on that property would have been questionable. The matter was postponed a number of times before it came to City Council on April 5th in 2012. It was approved with conditions. One of those conditions was that a building permit be applied for within 6 months of that April 5th approval date. A building permit was not applied for, and therefore the CUP expired, but the property remains zoned RP. They have recently approved the preliminary plat with conditions, and upon approval of your rescission this evening, it is the staff's recommendation to rescind the development agreement in its entirety and rely solely on the preliminary plat to establish the necessary entitlements for the property. Findings of fact in this case are that it shows it is within the city limits and is zoned RP. The preliminary plat complies with city code outlined for the RP zoning district and has been approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. And the revised plat has been required based on engineering department comments, and the applicant has agreed with the terms of those conditions. And that's what the conversation was about on Thursday, was what those revisions to the plat would be. So conditions of approval: should you choose to approve the rescission of the development agreement, the previously approved preliminary plat will be valid with the following conditions: that they comply with all city and outside agency requirements, that they comply with all the engineering department requirements, and that they address all engineering comments on the preliminary plat and propose a new preliminary plat and final plats and construction drawings, for re-review. I will stand for any questions.
I don't see any questions coming at this time.
Mayor
So,
Kling?
yes.
The lot layout, they can choose to change the lot layout, but they still have to, or are they looking at keeping the same lot layout that they had before?
So, Mayor, Councilman Haverfield, they are looking at changing the lot layout slightly. So some of the comments from engineering was access. They needed to have a second access
Right.
to the north and those kinds of things. And so to be able to provide the accesses that they've been required, they are going to have to shift the lots slightly, but they won't be out of conformance with what has been proposed.
So is there right-of-way acquisition that they'll need to provide to get that second access point?
I don't believe they're required to dedicate any right-of-way to get a second access. They've dedicated everything on the frontage that they need to dedicate.
I'm talking
at this
about
time.
purchasing additional right-of-way to be able to access through.
Oh, to the north?
Is that to get to Comanche Street? Is that where they'd need to go?
I think they have to cross someone else's property or access it through that way, but Daniel has more information for you.
Mayor, Councilman Haverfield, as we looked at this, the original plat was what you just saw, the three cul-de-sacs in the back. We've had new standards go into effect since that was approved. And so as we were looking at the connectivity there and looking at these adjacent parcels and how skinny they are, we realized that redevelopment of those lots would not be possible without some stub streets from this development. And so what we've required is that they provide a stub street into this front property here in the back area. And then we required them to provide one stub street in to this L-shaped parcel here. Let me go back to the plat. So as we met with them on Thursday, what they had looked at doing was bringing this up and bringing the stub street in this location. As they did that, they looked at getting rid of this middle cul-de-sac and making this just a loop road through there. As we talked to them, there's some concerns. They would have to provide a secondary access to this north by doing that, but they were amenable to those changes that we discussed with them Thursday. It does not require them to obtain any right-of-way from any of the adjacent property owners. It just preserves the redevelopment potential for those adjacent lots.
So it's set up for future access. So are those cul-de-sacs fire engine capable?
They are not proposing any cul-de-sacs any longer. It would be a loop, and it has all the appropriate turn
okay.
radiuses and everything for that.
Okay, so they'll come back before you as far as with the new plat. We won't necessarily need to see that. They'll just be working with you direct.
No, that is just strictly the land division portion that has to comply with the city standards, and we would review that prior to allowing them to go to construction.
Okay, and
And the final plat approval would still come back before you as a consent agenda item, so you would see that. But it's I haven't seen you disapprove a consent agenda plat for a long time.
And just for the council again, 30 lots constitutes a second entrance.
If they have more than 29 units, they have to have a secondary entrance per the fire code.
All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions for staff? Seeing none, this is a public hearing, and we do not have anyone signed up in support of or in opposition to this item. Is there anyone here that had intended to testify regarding this issue? Seeing none, I would stand for a motion to close public, well, actually, I'm not going to stand for a motion to close public hearing. The question is, what is the will of the council? We can do one of two things. We can have a continuance of this issue at a future meeting if council so desires. Would that be correct?
Mayor,
If we don't close it, since the applicant's not here, or we can vote to approve. So I'm not sure how to get there.
so if the will of the council was to essentially accomplish the goal of Councilman Rodriguez's original motion, then yes, you could do that. Otherwise, it is a public hearing, so you would need to take a motion to close it and go through the same procedures if the applicant were here.
And take a vote, right? Thank you.
Mayor Kling,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank
Mayor-
you.
Mayor Kling, I'll also make a motion to allow the rescission request as proposed to us this evening.
Second.
Is there any discussion? That was your second?
Is that what conditions of approval on this one? Was there not?
Yes, I'm sorry, there were 4 conditions as listed with conditions of approval.
So we would amend the motion.
Your second's okay?
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Rodriguez?
No.
Bruner?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
No.
Bauer?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Okay, item 6.3 on the agenda. This is a public hearing for the fee increases for Parks and Rec, the Recreation Center, Golf, and Cemetery. Darren, thank you for coming forward.
Mayor and Council, this is a housekeeping item, really. We bring fees for Parks and Recreation to the City Council once a year. In your packet, you'll see about 800 different fees for Parks and Recreation. I do like to point out that even though all those fees are listed, the majority of the fees have not been changed. And so as we look at the fees annually, we review them. As far as state statute goes, any fee that exceeds 5% or more has to come before a public hearing. we just bring all fees in front of City Council. Like I said, we're proposing that many of the fees stay the same. And fees, whether they go up or whether they stay the same, one thing I'd like to make the council aware of is we do have a scholarship fund that if a person can't afford one of our services or many of our services, they can apply for a scholarship fund. And so one of our goals is to be financially responsible and adjust our fees appropriately, but we also want to serve the public for sure. How we've come to the fees, our staff, our suggested fees, our staff is here, and if there's any questions as we get into the meat of the fees, they can help answer those. But we do comparisons. We look at revenue and expenditures, and then in some cases we have outside contractors who set their fees, and then they're able to do that, and then we take a percentage of those fees. And so to present, like I said, there's over 800 different fees. Perhaps rather than going line by line, I could just simply point out a few keys to the areas that we've adjusted. One is an example that I'll list. It's on page 9, and it's an expense for adult flag football, and it went from $230 to $270. This is a team, keep in mind, for the whole team. The reason we're increasing that and some other programs similar is because after we've looked at the revenue and the expenses with paying referees and some of our costs, it's not paying for the direct cost of the program. And so we've proposed moving that fee. Lloyd Square rental, you can see that's on page 16, went from $150 to $200. Again, we don't feel like that is paying for the services that we have. We have to send out staff to clean it. We have to do the registration of that program. And then we also did in the back of this packet, that was in your packet, some other types of facilities. There's some comparisons on rentals. The hard thing is matching and getting the same kind of service, and we recognize is that comparison. Some are better comparisons than others. Everything's a little bit unique, but that's how we came up with that. And then the golf fees on page, starting on page 19, as everybody knows, we're in the process of negotiating a new contract with the state of Idaho. Everybody believes that our lease fee, that is about $50,000 a year, is going to go up as soon as we get a successful extension of that contract. And so we're trying to prepare for the future and trying to look at our fees and bring in more revenue for golf. I would mention that the golf fees did go to the Golf Commission, and they were approved unanimously by the Golf Commission. With that, also in this packet is the Nampa Recreation Center membership guidelines. It's quite extensive, but there's a lot of different situations out there, and it's our guiding principles of how we make decisions on, like, for example, selling annual passes, or what happens when there's divorces and things like that. And so the standard operating procedures are attached. I think with that, if you have any questions of myself or our staff, we'd be happy to answer those. We recognize it's a public hearing. Others will be able to come up and speak as well. But I guess I'm here for any questions right now.
Mayor Klein.
Darren, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I think that was a good presentation, and I appreciate it, exactly how you presented it, because there's a lot there.
Yeah.
But
Thanks
thank
for not
you
going
so-
through all those 800. Yeah, I
Yes.
appreciate it.
So we've got Councilman Rodriguez, then followed by Councilman Haverfield, followed by Councilwoman Levi.
Oh.
So.
Thank you, Mayor. I got priority, thank you. I just talk louder than Sandy does, I think.
Got out there fast.
Yes. Okay, Darren, so after reviewing all these documents and all the price increases, it's about between a $2 and a $4. But what I want to know now is that by these increases, is it going to alleviate our budget for the 2021 year? But one thing further is this. Based on all these increases, how much, if all these increases go forward and we approve them, how much will it help the rec department, the parks department, the golf commission, or the golfers? How much of an increase is it going to be for its total package in terms of dollars?
Yeah. So it might be helpful to break it out. There's different goals for different departments. For example, golf and the rec center. It's the direction that the city council has wanted those to be self-supporting. And so we believe that with golf, raising the fees will help us accomplish that. Many of the other fees that were raised were due to fees that were increased. So sometimes it could be like a Red Cross class that Red Cross is charging an extra $10 for the book. And so it's really, most of those are just trying to get even with the expenses that we see coming or that have come recently.
So we're basically down.
And I would say the golf course fees, I would say with the assumption that we had the same amount of play with new fees, we would probably see about 125,000, give or take, of new revenue.
I see. Okay, that's what I want to know. What about the other departments?
The new revenue would be offset by the increased expenses, and so it's just kind of
It's a wash.
it's just a wash.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Haverfield?
Thank you. It was just an acronym thing. KIA, is that Kids in Action?
It is Kids in Action.
Oh,
yes.
good. That was a good guess on my part. What's ARC?
American Red Cross.
Okay. Great job on this. I think it's well conceived, and you guys have done a great job.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Levi?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Rodriguez, thank you for asking one of my questions. And secondly, I'd like to just say to Darren and your staff that you guys do an amazing job. The facility is always clean when I'm in there, and people are happy. And people were calling me when they saw a proposed fee increase, and they were very concerned that it was going to mess with the passes because they're concerned about the property taxes, et cetera, if they could afford to be doing this, if it's for the community. And as I did look through and you articulated, that it's really fees for users that are using programs, not the membership. So I really appreciate what you all do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And Mayor, just a little levity here. If the golf revenue does drop, I think at least doubling the rates for Councilman Rodriguez and Mr. Osborne out here
You pay
would
everything,
be,
especially Hubert.
Or all the 1A plates.
all 1A or California. Yeah.
Hubert has the same ball he played with 5 years ago, though.
He hasn't lost a ball.
I didn't see tags for crow, taking out crows on here.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't developed that fee yet.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
We could speak to that, but we won't. So unless there are further questions right now, Darren, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't go far because this is a public hearing, but we do not have anyone signed up to testify in
Oh, yeah, we
support
do.
or in opposition to. Is there anyone here tonight that failed to get signed up that would like to speak? Thank you, Mr. Osborne. And welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. It's been a great evening so far. And welcome to our new city councilman and the reelection of two well-qualified people. My name's Hubert Osborne. I reside at 4199 East Switzer Way, for the record. And I really had one question when I looked through that. And why are the golf cart fees different for Centennial than they are at Ridgecrest?
Good question.
Great question. Who would like to answer that question? I can see everybody just jumping up at the same time. Darren,
I had someone chatting with me when they asked the question, so I missed the question.
the question was, why are the golf cart fees different between Centennial and Ridgecrest?
Okay.
Is that correct? So Darren, would you repeat that since you're at the mic?
Yes. It appears that with the golf cart fees, it was our intention to have them the same at Ridgecrest and Centennial. And so I guess that what we could do is at this time we could make them the same and increase it $1 or go the other way. It would just have some of an impact on revenue, but acknowledge that we didn't catch that. And however the council would like to proceed, we can do that. I would probably suggest that we go to $16 on both of them.
Mayor Kling?
Yes.
However, if you do that, then Ridgecrest is already higher than Centennial. And so is that equal amount to each other? Now you're raising two things with Centennial.
Yeah.
Right, John?
Yeah, there's,
Let's have John, we should have you come forward to speak, if you would, please. So if I'm looking at this correctly, the power cart fee at Centennial is 15, and that's the one we failed to raise, is that correct?
Yes, that is.
And then Ridgecrest was raised from 15 to 16.
Yes.
So they're both the same price, and they would be raised equally. Is that correct? Okay.
You're
But-
talking about the round?
But yes, but my point is you're already raising Centennial and now the cart, of course, and now you're raising Ridgecrest and the cart. Is that what you're saying?
Ridgecrest is just staying the same. They were at 16.
Oh, I see.
So it would just be a cleanup thing of putting it to 16 for Centennial.
Okay, I think you're missing my point. There's more of an increase in Centennial than there is at Ridgecrest.
No, it would be exactly the same.
Is it?
Yes.
It's more to play
You're talking
golf
about the green fees?
at,
No, we're not. We're talking
Or I'm
just
wondering
the
if
cart
you-
fee.
that's what I'm getting at. It's more to play Ridgecrest than it is Centennial, but you're raising the fees for the cards another $1.
Well, the carts last year, Mayor and I don't know the protocol here,
Council.
Councilman Rodriguez, the rate was exactly the same last year. It was $15 at both places, and so we just failed to see to recognize that we were going to raise them to $16 at both places.
I see. Okay, I got you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
Thanks, Hubert. More revenue.
Good point.
good catch. Is there anyone else that had intended to testify this evening? Seeing none, I would stand for a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So what is the will of the council?
Make a motion. Oh.
We're gonna have the
I was
doctor
gonna let
do
the
it.
golfer do it, but that's okay.
Oh, I can do it. I'm gonna have the doctor do it.
You golf.
I'm not a golfer, but I do play rec league basketball, flag football from time. So at this time, I'll make a motion to increase the fee for park recreation, rec center, golf, and cemetery
As
So
proposed.
as proposed.
with the addition of a correction to the Ridgecrest golf.
Increase fee the $16 for each course.
And I'll second the motion with a caveat that we need to restrict access to the golf carts to Councilman Bruner.
I'll second that.
Let's see, I'm going to hear this for at least 4 more years, sounds like. Huh? Go ahead and impeach me so I don't have to.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
So that's the conclusion of our public hearings, but I'm just thinking, when we come to vote on the resolution at the end, I believe that is, where is it? Because I believe we have a
512.
512, if I can find it here. My papers are out of order, but when we get to 512, we're going to have a change. The resolution has got to reflect the change that we just made. So is there anything special we need to do other than when we get there, we'll just reflect what we just approved? The resolution for fee increase needs to reflect the change that we're making at Ridgecrest.
We would, yeah, Mayor,
Centennial, excuse me.
we would want to make sure the resolution reflected that, and we can,
State that via motion.
yeah.
Okay. Can we just go ahead and go to?
Mayor, I was going to say, can we just go ahead and do that and let these rec folks
That's what I
go?
was thinking.
Okay,
Let's just go
thanks.
ahead and go to 512 on the agenda. And so I would, Debbie, do you have that resolution? Do we need to read it? No? Okay, so I'd stand for a motion to approve the resolution for fee increase for Park Recreation, Recreation Center, Golf and Cemetery, including the fee increase at Centennial from 15 to 16.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
All righty. So let's go to page 4 of 8 on our agenda. And we're going to go back to Stephen Kehoe. Are you still here? I was intending to get to you before public hearing, but it just didn't work. To the Parks and Rec team, thank you all for your work. We appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Okay, so new business item 5.3, this is an action item. This is to approve the appointment of Stephen Kehoe to the Nampa Library Board.
So
Mayor.
moved.
Second.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Give it to Councilwoman Levi.
Councilwoman Levi.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Stephen Keough to the Nampa Library Board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
By all means, yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Thank you so much for serving. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Now you can go back to sleep.
Hi, Kurt. So we are ready for 5.4 on the agenda, and this is to authorize the Nampa Police Department to apply for a grant for a forensic bullet trap to test firearms.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
So we would like to submit for this grant. It's a no-match grant, so there's no funds coming from the city or the police department. The grant will be for approximately $10,917.81. And what that is it gets us the bullet trap so that what we can do with firearms, we can test fire those weapons, or if we get shell casings from a homicide scene or a drive-by shooting or things like that, we can take those shell casings and we can enter them into the National Interagency Ballistic Information System, which is NIBINS network. And it's through the ATF, and the grant is done through the Project Safe Neighborhoods, which we are working with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and it's mainly a program to help curb gun violence and just crimes of violence in general, but specifically gun crime. So we would like to be able to put in a grant which would cover the equipment that is needed, the recommended ammunition that they want us to test fire, as well as training for the individuals.
Wonderful.
So moved.
Second, and is this a one-year grant or?
This is a one-time cost. This is just for the equipment. The only requirement is that we use it and we take those shell casings and submit them.
Okay, very good.
Wonderful. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for seeking out the grant. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, item 5.5 on the agenda is an action item to authorize the mayor to sign a resolution for a cooperative agreement, project number A022154 for I-84 Ustick and Middleton Road overpasses, Canyon County, between the Idaho Transportation Department, Nampa Highway District, City of Nampa for the Middleton Road and Cherry Lane Signal Project. This is approved in the FY20 budget and legal review is complete.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Hogaboom,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Haverfield,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
Item 5.6 on the agenda is an action item to authorize the mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding between the City of Caldwell and Canyon Highway District Number 4 for the Midway Road, Karcher Road, Highway 55, to Caldwell Boulevard pavement rehabilitation. This is approved in the FY20 budget and legal review is complete.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Haverfield,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Hogaboom,
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
Item 5.7 is an action item to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement for hookup of Project Charlie to the City of Nampa water and sewer system and the agreement to be annexed into the City of Nampa with Americrete Land Holding LLC, and this has been approved by legal.
Mayor Kling,
Yes.
I will be recusing myself on this item.
Okay.
So move on this one.
And I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Hogaboom,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
Item 5.8 is an action item, and this is the council to award a bid and authorize the mayor to sign the contract for the Middleton Road rebuild. This is irrigation improvements, Greenhurst Road to Roosevelt Avenue project, and this is approved in the FY20 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I have a question, Mayor.
Okay.
I hate to wake you up, though. One of the questions I had was on the cost. It shows the design cost of $226,973. I guess it hit me wrong when I read that. So, help me out here. I mean, is there more involved in this design than what we know?
Yeah, Mayor, Councilman Rodriguez, that's the design for the entire roadway rebuild project from Roosevelt down to Greenhurst. The design of the irrigation improvements is just part of that. That's where you see the total project cost estimate is the $2.6 million. And so that $226,000 is a reasonable design amount
Oh, is it?
for that. Yes.
Okay. Now, was this sent out to other bidders
For the construction?
for
or
the design?
The design, they were selected off of our roster, and a scope and fee was established based on our rate sheets with them.
Okay, so they're within the range of all the others?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
all right. That's the only question I had. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Questions? Hearing none. Roll call.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Haverfield,
Yes.
Hogaboom.
Yes.
Item 5.9 is an action item. This is to award a bid and authorize the mayor to sign a contract for the FY19 stormwater repairs project with Ground Innovations LLC, and this is approved in the FY20 budget.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Hogaboom,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Haverfield,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
5.10 is an action item to authorize the mayor and public works director to sign a task order for scope of work with Murray Smith for design services of the Birch Redundant Force Main project, and this is approved in the FY20 budget.
So move. Together now.
Bring counsel here.
That was Rodriguez, Councilman.
You second that?
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Roll call.
Hogaboom,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Haverfield,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Item 5.11 is an action item to authorize the mayor to sign a purchase agreement for airport acquisition. This was approved by legal.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion or questions?
Question, Mayor.
Yep.
This property is $475,000. That was the appraisal value, correct? And we don't have a copy of the appraisal, but The two questions, Jeff, thanks for coming up. Number one, where are we getting the money from? And number two, would we get this money in return based on the airport transportation or airport master plan?
Mayor and Councilman Rodriguez, so we need a part of it down now, so we're going to pay for that out of airport funds. It's going to be $25,000 for this year. We need to front the cost for the entire property, and then the FAA will reimburse us for that money. And right now it's scheduled for 2023. We're working to move it forward. Potentially, we can move some of that money around in the capital improvement program we have with the FAA. And then your second question.
How long will it take for it to be reimbursed?
Reimbursed. Okay, so within that 7.5 acres, we have the master plan. I might have brought it. There it is. Okay, just to give you a vicinity map. This is the airport property. Get your bearings. This is, Happy Valley is here. Victory is here. And to give you another drawing. This is the end of the runway. This is Happy Valley, and the yellow outline is the property of the covenant. So this is the capital improvement plan and the master plan, and the red outline is the property that we were purchasing 7 acres, and you can see the design for the hangar units, and I believe there's like 23 hangars we can build there. All those are anywhere from small hangars to T hangars that we can lease out, or we can build ourselves and we can rent. So we're working right now through different scenarios on how we can either build out, design it as part of our airport business plan. So we'll have more information in the future, but for sure, it's an opportunity right now to purchase that property and be able to develop that.
Let me follow up, Mayor. So the first $475,000 was the appraisal value, but did the city of Nampa decide to give him another offer, lower price? Or we just went with the appraisal value?
That was part of the negotiations when we did the appraisal. I think we looked at the appraisal price. They also had needed to relocate. There's a house on the premises, and that's all part of the negotiations part of it. Certainly, we wanted a fair deal on this, and wanted to represent the city. So we feel like this is, like we said, a fair deal and an opportunity right now because they're willing to work with us and sell us the property. They're also willing to give us a little bit of time between we can put some money down on it and then work with the FAA, hopefully, to get that the reimbursement money sooner than later. So.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Mayor Kling. Remind me, Jeff, this acquisition was a part of an effort to, or at least was happening, coinciding with the RPZ, or the runway protection zone on the other end of the runway. Are we still chasing that property as well as this?
Yes, correct. That is the property on the other end is the 6.72 acres, and we've discussed that in executive session also. We're continuing to negotiate with that property owner. We're starting an appraisal there, and certainly that's where the FAA can move some of these funds around within the capital improvement program over the next 5 years, and we can work with them. So once if there's an opportunity factor right now, which is a Taylor property, we can work with the FAA. They can adjust where we put that capital money they have available for property acquisition, but Blau is still a priority. The property in the RPZ off of Garrity and Kings.
Right. And the purchase of this other property gave us a better position with the FAA. Is that part of the reason for that? I know that it's nice to have that additional property because it does give us the ability to build more hangars. But is it key to being able to get FAA support on that RPZ extension or that property for Blau?
They put both, now that we've talked to them about both of the properties, And both of the opportunities we have, they put both of them in the capital improvement plan.
Oh, okay.
So in the next 5 years, we've also added Taylor. So both Taylor and Blau now are placed into that plan. I don't know if it improves our situation, but they definitely are working with us to now have, to purchase both of those properties. So
Okay.
definitely good opportunities in both locations for expansion. And there's really great things going on at the airport. If you see the amount of property now we have to expand hangar units, different size hangar units, from T hangar units to smaller units to mid-size and larger plane hangars. There's really good things going on up there.
And again, the property that's immediately to the north of this Taylor property is already owned by the city?
Yeah, correct. We have that, and we've actually designed the master plan to include that property and the Taylor property to the south. And we've laid it out that, assuming we would get that property at some point, sooner than later, now that the
Yeah.
opportunity came up.
And Jeff, you might remind the council how many, well, there's no available hangars. How many are actually on a waiting list at this point?
There's over 50 people on a waiting list right now. So we are in the capital improvement plan starting a design for the hangar layout in that area next year, actually this year. And once we have that design, we'll start to put in asphalt, and that has to be done within 2 years. And the FAA funds can cover that, so we can start developing and providing more hangars for the needs.
Yes. Mayor, this brings up a question. Someone asked me this past week, and I didn't have an answer for them definitely. So is there any criteria or requirements for what people can have in one of those hangars?
Yeah, so we have operating procedures out at the airport. There are certain things they can and can't do according to FAA guidelines.
So they can't be a storage area for,
No, there's stipulations within that agreement that this is what they can do it.
because this person told me in other municipalities, some of that has happened on occasion. So I just making sure we have authorization to inspect and.
Watch
Okay.
for that, and that's
Okay.
Store airplanes.
I will say the newsletter that the airport put out, I saw that on, I think it was on Friday, and it actually referenced and reminded people what they were allowed to do
Okay.
within the units and not. Yeah.
Monty Hazel and the staff out there do a great job, operations
No hanger dances or anything like, okay.
they do a good job.
There is a Chihuahua that's on the loose out there, though.
Okay, so yes.
Mayor, may I ask a
Okay.
question? Jeff, I don't remember, was this built into the budget this year, or is this going to require amendment? Because I don't recall on this one.
This will,
It's a good question.
Mayor and council, we did set aside a few different funding opportunities for the Blau property. Being as that is not going to happen this year, we will use the funds there to purchase this property.
And you said this would be reimbursed through FAA funding? Is that fully reimbursed or just partially?
Most of our grants right now are 95%.
Okay, so at the most, we may have 5% would have to come up with. Okay, all right, thank you.
So we have had a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
And with that, that concludes, thank you very much. That concludes our meeting this evening. And welcome, Councilman Bauer. It's great to have you here with us. And I would stand for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Hey, nice sitting
We're
by you,
done.
buddy.
That's true. Rick, it's your last one. Since you're sitting here, I keep forgetting.
Yes.
Well, you're going to see
I get to see him.
My hips are getting sore. Sitting too long.
And you'll be, right?
I can't believe though, you're not going to be making faces.